In March 1973, Pink Floyd released their 8th studio album, known as Dark Side of the Moon. This album in particular was a crowning achievement in years of studio experimentation techniques that weren't widely used before the 60s and 70s. Along with the concepts of musique concrète and album-long narratives, it helped to bring this album to be critically well-received. Along with promotion from Capitol Records in the United States, Dark Side of the Moon went on to become number 1 on the Billboard 200 album charts and remained on the charts from its release until July 1988 for a non-consecutive 736 weeks. It appeared several times on different Billboard chart categories in 1988, 1991, 2003, 2006, and 2009. It was certified gold in 1976 by the RIAA, and once platinum became established in 1990, it went platinum 16 times. Along with the acclaims and reception, it has also been re-released several times over the past 50 years. This version of the album I'm creating is being done on Logic Pro on my MacBook, with all instrumentation, vocals, and mixing being done by me, along with various MIDI tracks I found online. With all that being said, I made this video because I wanted to introduce what each song was about while showcasing my work before I officially release this album. What I'm about to get into is the type of musical composition work that takes place and the interpretations of what the lyrics to these songs mean. Speak to me. Starting out the album is a heartbeat mixed with synthesizer noises. An audio recording about going mentally unstable can be heard in conversation. A common theme in this album is mental health, and is inspired by real events with band member Syd Barrett during this period in Pink Floyd's career. Audio snippets from other songs are featured before transitioning to Breathe in the Air. Breathe in the Air. This acts as the beginning, like a birth. The lyrics talk about when you gain consciousness. Be careful that you don't fall too deeply into the monotony of life, but also enjoy what life has to offer without losing yourself. Be sure to balance without burning yourself out. On the Run. This track is mostly instrumental, featuring a set of synthesizers going in and out every so often. Sound effects of footsteps and air travel are also present.
Have your baggage and your passports ready.
These sound effects allow the listener to have a sense of pressure and mundanity that seems out of our control. But then, just as it rises, a thrashing guitar brings everything silent. And as the sound dissipates, ticking clocks are heard coming in. Time. In the original song, most of the clocks that were included were large grandfather clocks. As the clocks fade out, a heartbeat is once again heard, with a tom drum and electric piano solo following. By the time that the vocals come in, the song seems to take a slower approach musically than the prior one. The lyrics tell of how you seem to have all the time in the world when you're young, but once you get to be older, you realize that you are conscious that someday you will die, and you'll just need to accept it rather than fight the inevitable. The ending repeats the verse and chorus from Breathe in the Air, so now that life has come and passed, and you've been able to make the contributions that you wanted to, it's okay to relax, even with the inevitability of death. Great Gig in the Sky. A piano starts off the song, then a twang of electric guitar too. Another audio recording appears discussing how the person isn't frightened of death and is willing to accept it, crescendoing the sound to become like an ascension into heaven. With a solo female vocalist, which in this one I decided to replace with a synthesizer. Then it becomes quiet once again after the burst of energy that was part of the solo. Slowly coming to a sort of acceptance that life has passed on, as the piano is the last thing heard before fading to side 2 of the record. Money. Side 2 opens with clanking of change in cash registers. A thumping bass comes on in a 7-beat rhythm. The lyrics here reflect on the greed that many humans chase. At first, it's seen as a means to advance in life and become luxurious, then how it slowly corrupts us and we are only looking to keep taking and not give anything once we receive it. Then, finally, how money has taken over our morality without any realization. Us and them. An organ plays as money fades out. In my version, I chose to do away with the drums on this track to bring more focus to the lyrical composition. But the drums do come back for the rest of the album. The lyrics tell of how ridiculous our problems are when we put the blame on things that we don't completely understand, viewing things as only good or bad, without any in-between. Denial of others and blindly accepting our ideologies without constructive criticism brings unfortunate consequences. Any color you like. This instrumental track has several ways that it can be interpreted. We can either be in control of the choices we make in our life, or instead, we have no control of our fates, and everything we do is under the illusion of choice. Such a Pink Floyd thing. Brain damage. In a sense, the title's kind of ironic. But it also highlights that when you label someone who is crazy without literally experiencing a loss of mental functions, it is more of an indication that the person who is saying this to you is unhappy with how their life is going, but they would rather not give into the chaos out of a fear of judgment or inability to live only for themselves. Eclipse. The ending of this album seems to sum up all of the crazy emotions brought up in each of these songs. No matter how much we feel like we worry about things that have greater significance, life eventually goes on. But to us in the moment, it's what we make of it. We could be nihilistic about our existence and become miserable until we die. We can be optimistic despite our problems and experience so much joy until we die. We can even be adrift in the cosmos, taking life one step at a time, with the acceptance that we are here for a while, and it's up to us how we spend our time. Soon, this album will be available on all major streaming services, and if possible, I could eventually do a physical release on cassette or CD, but we'll have to wait and see. I'd like to thank you for watching, and while I await this release, I have a new song of mine that is not Pink Floyd related that's going to be releasing soon. This one has been in the works since late 2021, and I finally gotten the rights to release it, so be on the lookout for that.